Why would Scottish clans share a tartan?
Why would Scottish
Why would
clans...
Scottish clans have the same tartan or share a tartan, as he phrased it?
Okay.
And I think that is a really great question, frankly.
It is.
So much so
So much so.
that we.
So you're going to put on glasses
Okay.
and adjust your hat.
This one we got in before the show, and I can't read anything without glasses anymore. I'm old. So I made up a list of all the tartans that I could think of that had the same name, like Austin, Keith, Marshall. There's Baxter and Buchanan. There's Mitchell, Russell, Galbraith, Hunter. There's all these different tartans. And that's what he's talking about. It's one pattern that has multiple names. Sometimes it's a district name and a clan pattern. Sometimes it's multiple clans. Sometimes it's just multiple names, period. So some of these I knew, some of these I didn't. And I used my phone a friend. I spoke to my buddy Peter McDonald this morning and got some more history on certain circumstances. So I'm going to kind of go through a list because between Peter and I, we kind of broke it down into different categories. So if you're not a nerd like me, I apologize. I'm about to nerd way the hell out right now. So when one pattern has multiple names, there's a few different reasons. There's like dual titles. So Austin, Keith, Marshall, Falconer is one. Baxter and Buchanan Old is another one. A third one, and sometimes one name will select it first and another name kind of globs onto it and then another name globs onto it. In the case of Galbraith, Russell, Hunter, Mitchell, Galbraith was the first name of that pattern, and it was documented by the Highland Society of London. Russell, it was given the name Russell in 1847 by Wilson's Bannockburn. They just basically changed the name or amended it in their pattern book to include the second. Then it became Hunter as well. This one I found was very, very interesting. It became known as Mitchell in 1960 because the U.S. Air Force Pipe Band it was put together by General Billy Mitchell, and that was the particular tartan that they started wearing it. So they just started calling it the Mitchell tartan in honor of him. So that's how the name Mitchell got associated with that tartan. Another thing that Peter pointed out was sometimes two tartans, or a tartan with two names, can be just the anglicized version of a Gallic name. So in the instance of McTavish or Thompson Red, or Logan and McLennan. Those are two examples of that. Sometimes it's through it has multiple names through an association with an original design. So in the case of Blackwatch, it's also known as the Campbell tartan. It's also known as Monroe hunting. It's also known as Grant hunting. It's also known as Sutherland hunting. And the names that are associated, Sutherland, Grant, Monroe, Campbell, were all associated with the early regiments of the Blackwatch. So they just kind of became that either hunting versions or the main version of their clan tartan as well.
They're already wearing it.
Because they're already wearing it,
Okay.
and or from adoption of, this is one of the things. There's district tartans and name tartans, and sometimes it was a name that's prominent in a district, so much so that the name tartan became the district tartan. Sometimes it's vice versa. So there's the Murray of Athol Highlanders. The Murray tartan, Murray of Athol tartan was worn by the Murray of Athol Highlanders and became the Athol district tartan.
Okay.
Campbell Quarter is also known as the Argyll district tartan. The tartan that is one that Peter said to me was the McIntyre of Glenorchy tartan married a Cumming, so that became the Cumming hunting tartan. They just replaced, I think it was the navy blue with black, and there were so many Cummings living in the Buchan district in Scotland, it became the Buchan district tartan. Some tartans have no clan affiliation, like the two clans have no affiliation, but it's just called the thing. So in the case of MacNichol or Nicholson, that is a particular tartan, and in 1990, it was noticed by somebody from TECA, the Tartan Educational Cultural Association in the U.S. in the Highland Games in 1990 in Santa Rosa, that someone was calling it the Cunningham hunting tartan. So Cunningham and Nicholson do not have any connections as clans, but it just kind of poof became a thing, was recorded, and now it's a thing. Some just adopt the tartan because they like that particular pattern. Sometimes it's down to the marketing or marketing shifting the names of the patterns. So a couple examples there. Wilson's of Bannockburn had a pattern that they called number 155, which also had the name Caledonia. The Caledonia tartan was bought by a guy with the last name Kidd, and then Wilson's of Bannockburn said, "Oh, Kidd, right? This is now going to be the Kidd tartan as well." And then it became the McPherson tartan when it was adopted in 1817. In the lead up to the King's visit in 1822. There's the example of the Murphy/Tara tartan. Peter indicated that the origins of it are not actually known. It's currently in the register attributed to the Clan Original in 1880, that book. He said it's not true. Murphy existed as a pattern, which is actually just a color shift on the MacLean of Duarte tartan. And then in, what year was it? In 1967, the marketing changed and a mill started calling it not Murphy, because that's just one name. They started calling it the Tara tartan to try to give more of an Irish slant to it. Okay. So the name got added on, Murphy or Tara. And then the last example would be the Wilson's of Bannockburn pattern 232, was also known as the Regency tartan, which then changed to the McLaren tartan when they officially adopted that particular pattern in 1822. And the thing that I was thinking about, so those are all the Scottish examples.
That's a lot.
It's a lot.
There's a lot of different reasons, is what I'm
and there's
getting at.
more. Exactly. There's no one reason why this one particular pattern has multiple names. There's kind of like, I tried to break it down kind of into like categories or potential reasons why and lump them together. But it is still, in the marketing aspect at least, it is still happening today. What you'll notice is, but I think it's happening for a different reason. It's happening either because of copyright issues or because I want to be different than that company, especially in Pakistan. I've noticed some of the Pakistan mills will, basically, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, they were weaving the Irish National Tartan, which is a House of Edgar owned copyrighted design, and they just started weaving it. And then when they started getting called out on, hey, you're not allowed to do that, that's copyrighted, they just said, okay, no, this is the Irish Heritage Tartan, or this is Dark Irish, or Irish Pride. They would just give it a different name. In a similar way, there's the Spirit of Bruce, Spirit of the Highlander, King Robert the Bruce tartan, depending on which company you buy from in Pakistan. They call it different things. There's the Hamilton Grey, McFarlane Grey, Grey Watch, Grey Granite, Night Watch tartan. So there are different examples of this that still occur today for different reasons, having to do more with marketing and or copyright avoidance. So it's a spunky load of noodles. But one of the things that this also highlighted for me when I was going down the rabbit hole deeply this morning was that not the origin story of a lot of tartans is not known. Like when Peter was talking about Galbraith Russell Hunter tartan, he said this one was first and then this one. But in my research, it may have actually been the other way around. And then there's other things that are saying like, actually, we don't know. This one, I think, was back, like there's a gray, murky, kind of misty origin story for a lot of tartans because it wasn't cataloged, because people didn't see like, okay, this is going to be our official clan tartan. Let's have a big parade. Let's make this known, and it's going to be a decree, and this is going to be, saved for eternity. It was a lot of the stuff just started off as a pretty pattern, and then this family started wearing it generally, and then the more that they wore it, the more it got associated with a particular family. But by the time that it was firmly associated with the family, they forget the story of how it came to be associated with the family. In the first place. Yeah. So a lot of these things, unfortunately, are kind of lost to time, and you don't know the true origin story of it. Through work, historians like Brian Wilton, Peter MacDonald, people like that. More is kind of being pieced together, but if the story doesn't exist to start with and it wasn't written down to start with, we're just kind of piecing together history as best we can. And as things are, as new things get discovered, you have to amend the story.
Wow. I had guessed at a few of those things, but not the full extent of the different variances of the stories of how it happened.
And one thing that Peter is very, very passionate about, that it's going to be a big project, is correcting the entries in the Scottish Register of Tartans. Because the SRT is just an amalgamation of the Scottish Tartan Authority notes and the Scottish World Tartan Register notes, two entities that kind of gave all the data to the Scottish Register of Tartans before it existed. So they're dealing with, like, chicken scratch notes sometimes that were transcribed, or somebody's memory of a thing that happened, or it's very, very loose. It was never written as academic papers. So Peter has kind of taken it upon himself to, if he finds something that is wrong, correct it, so that way going forward it will have more accurate notes.
Good for him.
Yeah, it's a heck of a project. Not enough time in a day to get it all done. Allie.
To dovetail off of that answer a little bit, we had a question from Pat Willinger. You guys have sharing a tartan, but what is the difference between that and a sept?
Okay.
A sept. What's the difference between, in the case of Mitchell, Russell, Hunter, Galbraith sharing the same tartan versus a sept of a clan? The what we are talking about currently is essentially 2, 3, 4, however many names that are equal, generally speaking, sharing the same design. What you're talking about is a sept, which is a family that is under a different family. So Reed is a sept of Robertson, or McMichael is a sept of Stewart of Appin. So it would for a sept, it would either be someone who lived on the land of a clan chief, or married into the family, or pledged loyalty or fealty to the clan chief, and then they would say, like, okay, well, you're now associated, so you can, therefore, it would be appropriate for you to wear the tartan of that particular clan.
Yeah.
So that's the difference between sept of something and an equal branch who just happens to share the exact same tartan.
Yep. Sept is related to the word sect, separation, and it was usually basically a smaller family unit that pledged loyalty to a larger clan for protection. Very often families living on the lands of the clan, paying the clan what was called man rent, meaning if you go to war, we will send X number of guys to help you out. Those kinds of relationships. So it's very feudal, so very medieval, honestly. So different from the art of the tartan that we're talking about.
Yes, indeed. And I apologize to everyone out there if that was too nerdy. This is my jam, though.
Everything we talk about has roots. I think it's important to realize that it's not simple, clear cut.
Yeah, it's a lot more nuanced than people give it credit for.
Always is.
Or than
Always
understand. There's the surface level that you're barely scratching, but when you start actually digging into it, there's a lot more there, and it's a lot murkier than a lot of people give it credit for. So, yeah, I like digging into it.
Yep.
Sorry for the uber nerdy answer on that one, guys. Sometimes I just go down the rabbit hole and I can't come out. If you enjoyed that answer and you're not asleep yet, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button, and remember, subscribe to the channel and ring the notification bell so you know when we come out with new videos.